These little butterweeds here are just about the last thing out here that's got flowers on them, and it looks like they're about done. Now here's the thing about flowers. Flowers require pollination. Now, sometimes that's because there are insects like bees and things like that that can come and visit the flowers and transfer pollen. Or it could be wasps, flies, any other number of, butterflies, that's right. Any other number of other insect vectors that will help spread pollen. And to simulate pollination for the insect vectors, I like using a little cosmetic brush, because that will help gather the grains of pollen and hold on to them. Just, the same as it does with the very fine powdered cosmetics. It's good for doing that with those. But tomatoes don't require transfer in that way. What they have instead inside is this little cone shape clasping the generative organs, and all that's going to happen is whenever the insect visits, it's going to give it a bit of a disruption and shake it up. Shake it up. Shake it up, baby. Ooh, I saw a little bit of pollen fly off there. Okay, here's the fun thing. Apparently, flowers only want to open up and drop pollen a couple of hours a day, and it coincides with the time that insects might be around fumbling about. There we go. We've got some flowers here in the back, and incidentally, whenever they're sitting the way they should be, they're going to be facing downwards, sort of a pendulous shape, and that allows gravity to do a lot of the work. And all they're going to require to be fruitful is just a little bit of help, some agitation. And what I discovered here is our best odds of getting pollination to occur is to wait until a few hours after sunrise. So wait until some sunlight has hit the plant. Wait a couple hours, between about 2 to 3 hours after sunrise. That way the plant will at least be simulating the effects of an insect coming to visit and have itself open and ready to distribute pollen. So there we have a daikon radish. I planted this earlier in the season. Let's get the pig right now. We have more. This one here is getting ready to make the ultimate sacrifice. Partially because it's next to a tree that needs to be dug up and transplanted. So of course we're using the transplant shovel. See what the roots ready. Alright. So you can loosen the ground with a fork. Let's see just how deep this radish can make. Ah, it wasn't that deep. Oh, there we go. there's a nice white radish, daikon radish. It's a white icicle radish, essentially, that we're going to have. The radish greens are also excellent with salad. Of course, you saw the tomatoes. We'll finish you off later, after lunch. Well, here we are, all the way in the back corner, where I've got a patch of alliums, a little pocket pond, and a whole bunch of stinging nettle. But that's for other purposes. Here we are with our alliums. This is the perennial allium called Egyptian walking onion. Cepa allium proliferum, a top-setting onion. That, of course, grows from subdivisions as well as from the bulbils that it sets on top. It can take over an entire area, but as it's a favorite of the gophers, we have to keep it quarantined with hardware cloth underneath in this raised bed area. All the same, whenever anyone has a desire for onions, these have a very potent onion flavor. Occasionally you gotta make sure that elm trees and sycamore trees get plucked out. Otherwise, they get rooted down into the hardware cloth and then you can hardly ever get rid of them. There we go. There's some onion for our salad. We got some greens, we got some onion, we got some tomatoes. Oh my goodness. Here we are, middle of November, and we're getting fresh salad fixings. Guys, you can do this too. These all-star strawberries seem to be exactly the kind of ground cover that my backyard just loves. But unfortunately, they're not making strawberries right this time of year. If we want to add some fresh fruit other than the tomatoes, we're going to have to look for another plant. Fortunately, I happen to have just the thing. Sometime after your first frost is the best time to begin harvesting these. Now, I've showed these before, but we're going to go ahead and start picking them now. These are called goji berries. I think about 5 grams of these a day would be about optimal for a health supplement. And they are just an amazing superfood. The way we treat them is by drying. So after the frost hits and the berries start to get a little bit sweet, go ahead and pick them and then dehydrate them. They become a bit like raisins. There you go. One of the ways you can tell that they're ripe is whenever they come off very easily whenever you tug it, and you don't have to do any extra work to pull them free. They just come right off in your hand. There we go. Now, the drying process can take a little while, usually a couple of days. So, I mean, you can speed it up, but if you turn up the heat too much, then you wind up destroying the nutrients. And you want to preserve as much of the nutrients in these berries as possible. They are just amazing. I couldn't list them all off the top of my head. Maybe throw them in the text there on the screen. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and just cut these up into small pieces. Not to worry, you're not going to notice. They become much, much sweeter after they've dried. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and chop these up into small pieces, and then we set them aside. Obviously, the radish is going to be a nice part of the meal, the salad. This is already washed up, cleaned up, ready to go. I am just going to go ahead and cut slivers like so of the daikon, which is a radish, and that is probably about all the radish you're actually going to need on this particular salad. And just like the goji berry, we don't want to have too much of a good thing. We're going to take our radish slices and also give them a quick chop. We'll set those to the side. Okay, our onion's been washed and peeled. We're going to separate it out into 2 portions. We're going to have the bottom part, the top part. The very top part, we're going to look over here, pick out any possibly find disagreeable. The rest of it seems to be okay. I'm going to cut this a little bit crispy there. Now this is green onions or chives. Let me start up here a little bit further. There we go. Green onions or chives, that's going to be for the toppings of your salad, for potatoes, anything else you like. That's a good amount. It's probably more than I need, but hey, we're going extravagant. So that's all going into the salad right there. Watch your fingers. Now your bottom half, if you need to remove any of this outer bit because of toughness, now would be the time to do so. If it doesn't appear to be too tough, then you're good. Just keep on cutting those slices of your onion like so. You can use the whole thing. If you use the whole thing, you won't be growing a new onion out of it next year, but that's okay. Allium proliferum is very, very prolific. And these other bits are a little bit on the woody side. We're just going to set them to the side. And the rest of this gets to go into your salad. There you go. So that's diced goji berries in there, and not bacon bits. Let's go ahead and get some tomato bits here. These ones are Chadwick cherry tomato. We're going to need a few other things. Pork, obviously. Because I'm a barbarian, I'm adding some cheese. We toasted some pumpkin seeds. Well, actually no, somebody else toasted these. I just harvested the pumpkins, so I figured it might be appropriate to add something that we would get from them. And so, hey, well, yep. This is what I do for groceries in the Age Without SNAP. Amazingly enough, you can grow your own for the most part. What else is missing? Oh yeah. Yeah, these do just fine. Yep. Straight out of the trees. And you know, fresh food's the best food. Especially whenever, you know, grow it yourself. We had weird weather this year. The pecans didn't turn out well at all. These are just tiny, smaller than usual. Look, they're cute. Oh, we crushed it. I crushed it. That one had a worm in it. Worms got into some of these. Yeah, that was no good. But for the most part, they're okay. They just came out small. Yeah, drop some, Daisy. There you go. Just a quick check, make sure I don't have any of the pith left on these because that's kind of bitter. There we go. Now our salad has fresh pecans in addition to all the other freshly grown veggies. Well, that's just not bad at all. Well, folks, tell you what, that's all I got for you today. As always, I hope you found today's video informative or entertaining. If you did, you know what to do. I'll catch you next time. Until then, get out there. And I don't care if it is winter. Get growing.